What if I told you this truck doesn't need petrol, doesn't need diesel? In fact, it runs on something you can literally pick up from the ground. Wood. Yeah, actual wood. This isn't a joke, and it's not a concept either. This is a real modified Chevrolet Fleetside running with a V8 engine, powered by fire and smoke. But here's the real question. If this works, why isn't everyone using it? Because once you understand how it works, you'll also understand why it disappeared. At first glance, this looks like a normal vintage pickup, but then you notice something strange. Huge metal tanks and pipes. This isn't decoration, it's a completely different fuel system. Inside that system, wood is slowly burning in a controlled way. Not like a campfire, but something far more technical and precise. And it's producing a fuel you can't even see. The smoke isn't just waste, it's part of the process. Every component has a role in turning solid wood into usable energy. It almost feels like the truck is alive, constantly processing fuel. And once you understand that, the whole idea becomes less crazy, but at the same time, much more impressive. The design looks confusing at first, almost experimental, but there's real engineering logic behind every pipe and tank. Nothing here is random or just for show. It's all built for one purpose: survival without fuel. And that's what makes this truck different from anything else. Even the layout is designed for efficiency over comfort. This is engineering focused on necessity, not luxury. And that changes everything about how the vehicle feels. The process behind this is called gasification. Wood is heated in a low oxygen environment instead of open air. This prevents it from turning into ash like normal burning. Instead, it releases gases like carbon monoxide and hydrogen. Those gases are highly flammable and can power an engine. So the truck runs on gas created from burning wood. The gas then travels through filters to remove impurities. Cooling systems reduce the temperature before combustion. Only clean gas reaches the engine for burning. If the gas is dirty, it can damage the engine quickly. So maintaining this system is critical for it to work. The quality of wood also affects the gas output. Dry wood produces better and more consistent fuel. Wet or poor quality wood reduces efficiency. This means fuel preparation is just as important as the system, and that adds another layer of complexity to the process. Even airflow control plays a crucial role in gas production. Too much oxygen can ruin the entire reaction, so precision is required at every step. To make this work, the truck needs heavy modifications. The Chevrolet Fleetside is ideal because it has space for equipment. A large gasifier unit is installed to process the wood. Then, filters and coolers clean the gas before it reaches the engine. Pipes connect everything like a complex mechanical network. It basically turns the truck into a moving fuel factory. Extra weight from the system affects handling and balance. Storage space for wood fuel also becomes necessary. The design often looks bulky and industrial, but every part is essential for the system to function. Without one component, the whole system can fail. Heat management is also a major challenge in this setup. The system operates at high temperatures constantly. Proper insulation is needed to keep it safe. Even small leaks or failures can cause serious issues. So building this isn't easy, it requires real skill. Custom fabrication is often needed for proper fitting. Off-the-shelf parts rarely work perfectly here. Every build is slightly different from the other. This system is far from convenient in real life. Before driving, you need to wait for the gas to build up. Sometimes it takes 10 to 20 minutes just to start moving. Even after that, the performance is much weaker than normal. Speed, acceleration, and power are all reduced significantly. So this clearly isn't a practical daily driving solution. Refueling also takes longer compared to petrol cars. You constantly need to monitor the system while driving. There's also a risk of harmful gas leaks if not handled properly. Weather conditions can affect how efficiently it works. All of this makes it more of a challenge than a convenience. Cold starts can be even slower in winter conditions. Ash buildup requires regular cleaning of the system. Maintenance is more frequent than for normal vehicles. Drivers need basic technical knowledge to operate it, so it's not beginner-friendly at all. Breakdowns can be harder to diagnose and fix. You can't just go to a normal mechanic for help, and that adds another layer of difficulty. This idea actually became popular during a global crisis. During World War II, fuel shortages changed everything. Petrol was limited, expensive, and often unavailable, so people turned to wood gas as an alternative fuel. Over 1 million vehicles were converted across Europe. Cars and trucks ran on wood because there was no other choice. Entire fueling stations were replaced by wood supply points. Drivers had to carry extra wood for long journeys. Cities adapted to this unusual but necessary system. It was inefficient, but it kept transportation alive. And in that moment, it was a life-saving innovation. Some governments even promoted these conversions officially. Special kits were produced to convert existing vehicles. Public transport systems also adopted this method. It became a temporary but widespread solution, until fuel supplies were restored again. Once petrol returned, most systems were abandoned quickly. People preferred convenience over complexity, and wood gas slowly faded into history. Today, this technology still exists, but in a different role. It's mostly used by enthusiasts and experimental builders. Some people explore it for off-grid or survival situations. Others just want to prove that it still works today. But compared to modern fuels, it's highly inefficient. That's why it never returned to mainstream use. Electric vehicles have taken the spotlight instead. Renewable energy solutions are far more practical now. Wood gas remains more of a backup idea than a primary one. Still, it shows how flexible engine technology can be, and how old ideas can still have relevance today. Some rural areas still experiment with it occasionally. DIY communities share designs and improvements online, but large-scale adoption is extremely unlikely. Technology has moved far beyond this stage, yet the concept still captures curiosity. It's more educational than practical now, a piece of history that still runs, and still surprises people who see it. This truck is more than just a strange invention. It represents how humans adapt under extreme pressure. When resources disappear, creativity takes over. Even outdated ideas can suddenly become valuable again. A V8 engine powered by wood sounds impossible today, but in the right situation, it becomes completely logical. It challenges what we think is necessary for technology. Fuel doesn't always have to be modern or refined. Sometimes the simplest resources can solve complex problems. And that's what makes this idea so fascinating. Not because it's perfect, but because it works. It also shows how dependent we are on modern fuel systems. Take those away, and everything changes instantly. This truck is a glimpse into that alternate reality, where survival matters more than efficiency, and innovation comes from necessity, not comfort. It's not the future of cars, but it's a powerful lesson from the past, and one that still matters today. So yeah, a truck that runs on wood sounds crazy. But the real story isn't about the truck. It's about how far humans will go when they run out of options. If you want more insane machines like this, hit subscribe, because the next one, it's even crazier.